Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. From Boundary to Bear Lake, Fremont to Payette, Oahe to Oneida, there are interesting people, places, and histories in all of Idaho's counties. And Idaho Matters wants to share it with you with stories from all 44 counties that make up the Gem State. Email your ideas to idahomatters@boisestate.edu or use the Talk to Us feature in our app, available on Apple and Android, and tune in each weekday at noon for Idaho Matters. From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, this is Idaho Matters. I'm Gemma Gaudette. As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Maybe an astronaut, maybe a cowboy, a scientist, a social media influencer? Well, as a kid, picking your future career is a big deal, especially since so many jobs require special skills that you need to start learning early in life. So, to help youth and parents explore some of the jobs that Idaho has to offer, Idaho Public Television has created a new series that's called Idaho Jobs Explained, which takes kids behind the scenes of everything from forestry to civil engineering to becoming a landscape architect. And it looks at those soft skills that everyone needs when working with other people. The series is the brainchild of Matthew Baltzell, who joins us along with Sharon Reberry. She is the Director of Education and Careers with the Idaho Workforce Development Council. She also oversees the Idaho Launch Program. I want to welcome both of you to the show.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Hey, thank you so much.
And Matt, let me start with you. You've said that you know how hard it can be to figure out what kind of career you want. So is that why you wanted to create this series?
Yes, I don't think that there's a single person alive who didn't have to struggle with that question at some point and had to struggle with the process of actually finding a job to get that career. This project initially started about 3 years ago as a collaboration with WNET, the PBS station out of New York. And the goal was to connect with a bunch of local PBS stations across the country to really help fill in the gaps of American employment. And we decided to do that by using social media and using things like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram to connect with the generation that's coming up and kind of meet them where they are actually, where their eyeballs are. Because as a TV station, we are finding that, the next generation of teenagers, they're maybe not watching a lot of broadcast television.
I can tell you that my teenagers are not. So Matt, with that, give us an idea of what kind of jobs that kids can learn about from the series.
Well, there's all kinds of careers that we focus on. For example, I was just down into a mine up in the Silver Valley not too long ago. But right now, Idaho actually has a job and economic boom. The tech industry is growing. The construction industry is growing. There are so many different careers that I think today's kids just might not be aware of. And our goal is to maybe bring these careers alive by creating videos online that they can share with their family, that they can access themselves, that teachers can access and show in their classrooms, and hopefully share something that they might not have expected or known that was something they even wanted to do.
So Sharon, how is the Idaho Workforce Development Council involved in this project?
Oh my goodness. We are involved as partners and collaborators with Matthew and the work that he's doing to showcase these jobs in Idaho. And what he's showcasing through this project are jobs that we have identified as in-demand careers for the state of Idaho. And this is very much tied to our Idaho Launch Grant, which is a grant for Idaho high school seniors where they're eligible to receive grant dollars toward their post-secondary training. And so together, we really try to collaborate on jobs that are in demand so that we can give students some insight into what is possible for the next steps of their journey beyond high school.
Yeah, if I could
So,
actually
Matt, you,
jump in,
oh,
I
go ahead.
remember, oh yeah, I just remember that when I was in school, the concept of you had to go to college as the only option was not a subtle suggestion. Every teacher that I had told me college is the only option between you and being destitute. And that really wasn't true then, and it's certainly not true now. College, a traditional 4-year degree, is one great option among many great options. There's being an apprentice, there's 2-year schools, there's so many other avenues that kids just might not be aware of.
And Matt, you actually took a behind the scenes look at forestry and what it takes to work in that particular job. So I want to play a little bit from the video. So let's take a listen to this.
It's kind of like agriculture in a way where you maybe don't realize the level of expertise that some people have, whether you're, one of the millwrights in the mill or one of the foresters out in the field, or even, like I said, the accounting staff. But, most of these people have a lot of training, whether it was formal training with a degree program or even just on-the-job training or trade training of some kind. People are pretty highly skilled. These are very modern machines and equipment that they're running. It takes a skilled staff.
So, Matt, what else did you find out about this particular job?
It is very interesting going around, and I've been traveling around this state talking to a bunch of different people from different careers who are all incredibly very passionate about what they do. And there's a lot of passion and a lot of skills and training that are required for a lot of different jobs. And one thing I've discovered is a lot of the time, and this is sort of why we sort of showcase a lot of soft skills in our videos, is that there are a lot of jobs that will actually teach you how to do the job. They just need you to be the right employee. They just really want you to show up and be the sort of person who's excited and engaged. And they aren't necessarily as worried about you having all these hard technical skills, because that's the half that they can teach you.
So, Sharon, Matt is looking at a lot of Idaho-specific jobs like forestry that we just talked about. So how important is it to get kids, youth interested in these kinds of jobs?
Oh gosh, we live in such a great state and there are so many opportunities as Matt has been mentioning. And so working to showcase these different options so that they get this view into what these possibilities are. And our collaboration really does help to provide students with these ideas and these real world glimpses into the world of work and what could be next for them. And so doing this, we're working to prepare Idaho's students for Idaho's workforce needs today, but also for the future. And with these glimpses that we're able to give students into the real world of work, it helps to garner that interest for our future workforce. And as Matt mentioned, it really is important for students to learn about the available jobs and how they can become part of that. The soft skills are so important, as well as knowing what's out there, because I think as we've heard in this interview so far today, is that there are opportunities for students that they may not be aware of. And by doing this and showcasing these in-demand jobs and what it takes and where they are, it's just hoping and opening up this world to students.
So speaking of soft skills, you also looked at that in this series as well. So for example, you've got a video on teamwork. So we want to play just a little bit from that video as well.
So remember that time in school when the teacher assigned you to a group project? It was you and like 4 other people. And then like half of them maybe did some of the work and half of them did none of the work, and you pretty much did all of the work. It was all on you to hold up the grade of 5 people, 4 of which weren't doing anything. Now imagine that's your entire career. Today's soft skill, love it or hate it, is teamwork. Because in the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how good you are at your job if you can't talk to another human being without burning the whole building down. Okay, I don't mean this to sound all doom and gloom, because teamwork is actually really important. And if it's done well, it'll actually make your job and everybody else's job 1,000 times easier.
Okay, Matt, I kind of love this because I think this is a big part of what's missing when we talk about career, right? And frankly, I think you're going to be more impacted by people's soft skills or lack thereof than you might be by the actual job. So why did you want to look at soft skills along with, what the job entails?
I I wanted to look at these soft skills because there really isn't a job where they're not relevant. These are skills like communication, leadership, responsibility, things that are a little bit more nebulous of a concept, but are important to every aspect of our lives and not just our careers. I've actually talked to someone who runs a welding school, and he talks about the first week of training for all of his kids doesn't even involve welding. It's about show up on time. Here's how you dress right. Here's how you look people in the eye when you're talking to them. And that's because these are the skills that are actually going to get you a job and get you to keep a job.
Hmm. Well, that's the whole thing right there, right? It's keeping of that job. So before we wrap up, Matt, does this series help? I mean, are you hoping that it helps make picking a career easier and maybe a little more fun and interesting?
That's certainly the goal. And my goal is to not necessarily tell anyone what they should do, that you should go to college, that you should become an apprentice. Our goal is to showcase all the wonderful options that we have in this state because we have a lot of great choices for the next generation and let them decide what they want to do.
Well, I want to thank both of you so much for your time today. We've been chatting with Matthew Baltzell. He is the creator and host of the new Idaho Public Television series. It's called Idaho Jobs Explained. And Sharon Reberry joined us as well. She is with the Idaho Workforce Development Council. We will, of course, put some links to the series and the videos on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. This is the Idaho Matters podcast. I'm Gemma Gaudette.